Hi, everybody. We are here for the Love of Health episode 2021. This has just been an amazing 100 days, Tasha. I mean, we just been slam packed with some awesome conversations. And I found our next guest today, Tasha Love, in a Facebook group. And I just thought that the variety of things that Tasha has going on, she is a practitioner and business owner based in California, who is covering a lot of ground in regards to hypnosis therapy, and she actually is a hypnosis therapist.
Hypnotherapist.
Welcome to the show, Tasha. I'm so excited. Yeah, okay, thank you, hypnotherapist. Yeah, and then you're integrating hypnosis with energy healing and other modalities. How long have you been doing that as a service for people?
It'll be almost 4 years now.
Awesome. And are you doing a lot of work online, in person?
Online. After COVID, I just all integrated online and actually was better therapy. I found that clients are really comfortable in their own space, so that helps. And as far as the energy work, I mean, energy transfers is just like prayer. It's all, you don't need to be right there with the person. So yeah, so I've been doing that, just doing it. I do some like house calls in the area with clients that I know, but the majority are virtual, and that also opens it up to other parts of the world. So it's been cool.
Awesome. And why this type of work? Did you go through it too and experienced it firsthand, or just kind of?
Yeah, so I've always been fascinated with the brain and how the brain works. And as a child, I've always been, very intuitive and just kind of knew things that, no way else I could just know. So I've been in tune with that. And then I kind of actually did have an awakening during COVID, and that just led me to explore and learn more, as far as in the energy realm. And I did have hypnosis. I was on Prozac for anxiety. I went through a divorce. That was pretty traumatic. And so yeah, during COVID, I did not want to, I was afraid that maybe I wouldn't be able to get the medication or something and have to just stop it. And with Prozac, you can't just stop it. You have to wean off of it. And then just dealing with everything that was going on. So I had been talk therapy, and that helps. But with hypnosis, you're actually getting into the subconscious, and basically just 2 sessions, I was able to wean off of the medication and manage that anxiety, pretty much.
What an amazing testimonial. And I like that you shaped it with this logical, practical reason why you had to start looking into something else, because it was just a matter of medication, making sure that things were going to be congruent with you, and that your success was still building on success in your mental health journey. Wow. So 2 sessions. So how commonplace, how accepted is hypnosis now in kind of general therapeutics? Is it more accessible?
Yes, I believe so. It used to be kind of a thing, hypnosis. I remember one time at a fair, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I went to, and they were doing stage hypnosis. Thought it was interesting there. I'd heard about it. I know smoking, people that try to stop smoking would do hypnosis, but it wasn't that ideal. But now it's more and more and more being accepted, especially in the medical industry. A lot of dealing with cancer patients, because visualization is really good when you're going through traumatic things. And just people are becoming more conscious, and with health, wanting to do more holistic things. And so it's just a matter of the bringing out the awareness, and not to put down, psychotherapy, which, it actually does work, especially if you have like a condition. But sometimes those things are like, I've found like pre-diagnosed, like anxiety. Like if you have low blood sugar, that can cause the same symptoms as anxiety. So
Yeah.
So
yeah. And there's so many medical, it's a great point that there's so many medical symptoms that interweave in these mental health situations, and the platforms that exist don't necessarily uncover some of those details. And that's a narrative that I'm seeing come up a lot in a lot of our interviews, is that there's just like these things that aren't talked about within conventional medicine that is talked about in holistic frameworks. But I think it's amazing that you had such success with 2 sessions, and also that you're able to now serve people online primarily, because I always thought hypnosis to be something that was only primarily done in person, but that's just my assumption with very little experience.
right.
So if we could like segue now into that, like how does hypnosis work? Are you meeting with people one-to-one on camera? Are you able to facilitate small group programs?
Yeah, so I do one-to-one, unless I'm doing like a master class, which you can do group. But to really, I've even taught self-hypnosis. You can do all of this. It's basically like meditation, like a guided meditation, but you're just able to sink in. So that's basically our brain. We use 95% of our subconscious and only 5% of our conscious mind. Our subconscious is developing from 0 to 8 years old. So everything that we learn, everything we see, experience as we develop our likes, dislikes, our fears, it all sets in our subconscious mind. And that's what we're comfortable with. That's what we know. Our conscious mind starts developing, and that's where logic and reasoning come in. So for instance, just a quick example to probably make it more clear. Say if you were trying to lose weight, okay, in your conscious mind, like you like cake. If you eat this cake, it's gonna like make the process harder, and it's it's not gonna work. In your
more delicious though, more delicious.
Yeah, right. And in our subconscious mind, we're saying those things that taste so good, or my mom used to give me this when I felt bad. And so that's what you tend to go with. So in hypnosis, we're able to get into that part just by like an overload of messages and modalities. You can get into that middle part and drop in the things that you want in your subconscious, like I'm only going to eat cake once a week, or I'm going to eat more healthier things. And you just start filling up your subconscious with what you want. And those other things just go away.
Amazing. I mean, truly amazing, because you're changing the narrative of your
Right. It's basic. Yeah.
And I can see why they would use it in so successfully with credential behind addiction and cigarettes, which are such a hard habit to change and shift out of.
Yeah. So it's basically reprogramming your brain.
Yeah. And I mean, we see that with intuitive therapeutics too. So I can see why you would weave in things like energy healing and other forms of therapy with that modality as well, because it all kind of synergizes together so well with that deprogramming and reprogramming. But then also fits into mental health too, which I think is very interesting. Whereas other forms of energy health therapeutics don't necessarily cover mental health. They're more about energy and chakras and alignment. So it's kind of an interesting Venn diagram we have going on. And then somewhere in the middle is conventional medicine and RX pharmaceutical, psychotherapy, talk therapy. Wow. Right. Okay. So how did you make this business work? How are you beginning to promote your master classes? Because I see you have master classes as a great way to get people in, an audience in, and then from there, I'm sure you convert them to private coaching or private work. But how do you advertise and promote your master classes? How are you getting your voice out there and getting people to then eventually become clients with you?
Yeah. So I graduated from HMI, which is it's an accredited hypnosis motivational institute, and like the only accredited college. It's not like a weekend course. It's a whole year and a half. And then I took extensive other classes, which like intuitive energy healing, other classes that were offered in addition to that. So they have a great directory. If someone is looking for it, like their name just like pops right up, and then it has like all their graduates and what they have done and accomplishments. So that's a way. Also social media and Psychology Today and Heal Me. Yeah, so just all the platforms that I can just put out who I am, what I do, word of mouth. Now I'm starting to network more now that we can get out and do things, which I think when I first graduate, that's what was, they give you a business class, they tell you how to bring in your clients, and it's mostly through networking, going to like, the business bureaus, in your local area and so forth, and joining these networking clubs, because once you meet people and they see you, develop that rapport. So
and in your area of California, is there a community or a network that exists already of other health practitioners with similar types of offerings or compatible offerings?
Yeah, there's several networking groups. Yes.
That's great. It's always nice to know, like, if there's something else that you can really build out and do locally, as well as on a larger scale. And then are you using digital marketing too, like social media or LinkedIn? Which one do you like the most?
Yeah, I do LinkedIn, but mostly I get clients from Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm always curious because everybody's like, I don't know where my clients are coming from, and I'm like, well, where let's talk about that. Where was your last client, and how did that come to be? Do you find yourself like if somebody came up to you and like didn't know anything about it, like how do you like talk about what you do?
Yeah, so I've tried to narrow it down as small as I can, but basically, I mean, in a small sentence, basically I alleviate stress, remove blocks, and get you to where you want to be. So that's what is done. They'll ask more questions, so forth. I mean, hypnosis just covers so many things: fears, phobias, helps with self-esteem, success. It's just any, excuse me, any mental blocks that you have, you're able to remove that with hypnosis. What 6 months of talk therapy can do, like once you know what the issue is and what that you still have to do these tools and practice each day to develop, just for instance, like anxiety, when you feel it, breathe, and there's different things that you can do, but that subconscious always comes in and always takes over. So that's why with hypnosis, you just kick into where you're supposed to be, and those tools are like within your mindset. You shifted that mindset, so now you're no longer working on that autopilot of your subconscious with things that you don't want in there. It's what you do.
I can imagine. I mean, that's a really great explanation. I'm sure you can explain that to people who are interested in the process. Like, and how do I know if it works or not? And I think those are the logical questions that would come up. Like, how do you? And I'm sure there has to be a period of evaluation and like assessment in some capacity. Like, what, and basing it off the last time you saw the person, like how did you, do you feel like what we worked on, is now in your coming into it play more? you know,
Right.
it might be very subtle, right? Some of the changes.
Yeah, depending on what it is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even notice, like, oh, I
Yeah.
didn't pick up that cake, and I usually do.
Right,
Going
right.
back to the cake thing, because I mean, oh, it must be that, like, and really kind of for us noticing the changes, which is a really encouraging thing. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm sure you can get very creative too with how you can build space for people. So what would you say are some of the creative ways that you kind of assist people, or some of the personality things that you bring into the equation that make you different from other people who offer a similar thing?
Yeah, so like I said, I learned a lot about intuitive energy. So that an EFT is called emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. So that because some things are like a little tough, like a craving or so forth, you can tap out that craving, like literally just doing it in 3 cycles of that, and you lost that craving for anything. So that's like hypnosis on steroids. Basically, there's certain modalities within that I have learned to introduce. Have a client that was very there was just a topic she would just, I mean, there were several things we were working on, but one thing just like really made her emotional. And so we just like stopped and tapped on that subject. And then now that when she has that thought, then she doesn't feel that level of emotion that she does. And then with learning to balance the chakras and the energy healing, that just removes something, because some things get stuck. Like I said, it's energy and it builds up in a certain way. And breath work is like the best way to just move and shift that energy. So if you have to kind of do a combination of all for it to really stick. You'll have the results think to work, but sometimes things are like really deep in some things that maybe we didn't even come up. Our bodies, our brains have a good way of protecting us. And so this is a way to like kind of shed some of those emotions and help you really get down to the root of things. So I don't know if that answered your question or
No, it
what,
It,
but
it,
I mean, that's what sets me apart. And like I said, I have a signature program. It's 8 weeks. So that incorporates 3 hypnotherapy sessions, 1 energy healing, an intuitive reading, and then mindset coaching. And in there, that all you could do past life regression within those within that session, the EFT, inner child. Yeah, and so it's very specific to the person and their needs.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it just seems like you're so well trained in so many different types of things, and that it sounds like in the moment you can recognize which tool or which modality is appropriate. So it
right.
seems like you bring quite a level of trust, safety, flexibility, and maybe also a certain honesty from the client, so that they can really emotionally go there when they need to
Right.
release things, and maybe a certain level of patience as well to be able to be present for that person in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, I've gone through, got over anxiety and traumatic situations. So like I really those are mostly the clients that I like attract, that I can relate to and have empathy for, because I've kind of been through the same thing. So it's mostly women that I work with. I may have 1 to 2 male clients, but it's mostly women, and just helping mostly with healing, helping them become like their most authentic, highest self, basically. And in order to do that, you really need to heal your mind, your body, and your spirit. Yeah.
No, that's great. And is there anything else that you want to offer our audience today, or anything you'd like us to bring into our awareness today?
Yeah, just that it's very important each day to set some time for yourself, for healing, for just your attitude, just at least 5 minutes just to sit still, breathe. Breathe is the most important thing. If you can meditate, with meditation, like I said, hypnosis is more of a guided meditation, but sometimes still people can't focus on even hearing someone guide them. A little tip for that is to start counting, because you can't focus. Your mind can't wander while you're counting, so that'll bring you back to your attention. But that's just like the most important thing for mental health. I mean, if you could take a day off or some time, but always take, that time off. Also, your intuition, really, it's there. We're all intuitive, and some have it developed more than others, but it's within there. And that's my masterclass that I'm doing for April, is helping you to develop that intuition, or just if you have and you just want a safe space to talk about it, because some people think that's like odd or strange. I know me personally have grown up in a Christian background, and some things are just like, no, you can't do that, or it's witchcraft or whatever. But this is God-given, what we have, and to use it, and it's within us. We all have it, and if you listen to that, you will.
I love that.
Yeah.
Trust your intuition, really allow that intuition to shape it. So awesome. And just out of curiosity, before your hypnosis sessions, for yourself, what track were you on in your professional career? Were you going to be a holistic health practitioner anyway?
Actually, I was a medical assistant. I was working with cancer patients and radiation. And I'm on a Zoom. I noticed the ones with the positive attitudes. I mean, we had patients that are coming, they bring us gifts, and just like they're so like, just have this light about them. And those were the ones that have the most healing, fastest healing. So it's all the mind, the mindset. And I always notice that too. But there are things just within traditional medicine that doesn't really set well with me. And the whole insurance thing, there's just a lot. And I just kind of drifted off, and I had moved, and just life changes caused me to do other things. I was a flight attendant, but I was just got in a position where I was just, I wasn't able to work, I had to take care of my grandmother. And I saw an ad for HMI, and it looked interesting, and then it just went from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. It's truly one of your intuition. And I look forward to publishing this episode for our community.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.